Anywho, I do want to give you a huge shout out. I mean, just off your free content, we implemented a much more aggressive follow-up system. We went from a 63% contact rate to just yesterday with like 15, 20 leads, somewhere on there. We had a 93% contact rate off the new leads that came through, like, which
That's
is a
sick.
50% freaking jump based off your free content.
In this video, you're going to see a new way of thinking that I have never seen anyone show on the internet before. I did a private consultation with a small group of people showing them exactly how they can, for free, go from 10K per month to 50K per month, and then show them the exact path we would have for them if they were to go from 50 to 100K per month while fully removing themselves from the day-to-day. I have never shared this type of information publicly, so I hope it blows your mind. Does anyone want to volunteer as like a guinea pig?
Keegan's nodding. Keegan's got it.
Keegan? All right. Get Keegan up here.
Let's get it.
Let's do it. All right. Sweet. So what I want to do, Keegan, is basically I'm going to ask you some questions about y'all's business right now, and determine our baseline and then like what you guys want to do from a goal perspective. And then we're going to go through this exact process, the things that you need to do in your business to make more money. So if you can, on a week, do you know like any of your KPIs off the top of your head to start with?
So it's kind of interesting because we're still closing like a decent amount of deals right now,
Uh-huh.
but we really don't have like a true system right now because we're kind of just restarting. Because we used to have like a huge list that we called from because we used to both work for a wholesale company. So
Mm-hmm.
now we kind of did our own thing starting in January. So we're kind of just like scrambling for deals. And now we're at the point where we have some money coming in. We're trying to get our systems and processes in place.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, KPIs that we both try to hit, we try to make like two offers a day and then kind of like that 50 to 60 calls. And then with the talk time, it just varies. I'd say we need to
Mm-hmm.
get a little bit better with that, but I mean, that's on average, depending, 2 hours of talk
So
time.
So you guys are both cold calling right now to like go straight to offers, or is it
Not
SMS?
necessarily. No. Well, so we have a cold caller, but we
Okay.
actually pulled a new list and the data is going to be ready on Monday. We're going to be implementing cold calling and then texting with launch control. So two forms of
Nice.
marketing.
So do you have like your cold callers sending you leads like on a daily basis right now, like people who are interested?
Yeah,
Yeah. So we have a list that we're kind of working with, but it's kind of like used. So
there's just
I mean
beat up
she's
list.
still working. Yeah, it's beat up,
How
but she's
many
still working.
how many interested people does your cold caller send y'all a day?
I would say give or take 2 to 3. Depends.
All right.
The list is pretty burnt out, so it's tough to really analyze that right now.
All right, that's perfect. I'll get this down. And then you say you try to give out 2 offers a day. How many do y'all think you actually put out on a daily basis?
I
I
mean, when
mean, I would
everything's
say
coming in, like, and everything's working perfectly smooth and the leads are coming in, we try to, I mean, I'd say more than like 2 to 4 really, but I mean, at least minimum two a day, whether we have good leads or not, whether it's reaching out to agents,
yeah,
reaching out to
Okay,
other
how
dealers.
many would you say you offer on those cold call leads?
I would say probably one, but it's tough
One.
to really analyze the business because we're not going off of like actual data. We're kind of just
Mhm.
using the old list, agents. So it's just like kind of hustle mode, you know?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's also like a spot, but you can like roughly get an idea because like if you know you're given like
Yeah.
one offer a day roughly from the cold caller, then we can kind of get an idea of like what that looks like if you were to because like do you guys want to do direct to seller or direct to agent?
Direct to
Direct to
sell.
seller for sure.
Okay, cool. So like yeah, we'll just project off the cold call. So if you think you'd say like insert, I mean that's what it would actually would be like about the right number is like one a day right here. So if this is the scenario, and then like, do you know how many like offers it is for? And again, think to direct to seller, how many offers it is to a contractor, or are you guys like still just getting it ramped up?
Still getting it ramped up, but it's crazy because we have like six closings this month. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like we're still generating some revenue, but it's just like there's no systems really because we're
Yeah.
we're just like the hustle mode, right? We knew how many calls we were just kind of making as many calls as we could, right? So now
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to like digest the business, learn the systems processes, and then just kind of replicate it every day.
Cool. So we can work with this. This is like enough information to go off of. So all right. So let's just say from this, how many days a month does your cold caller work?
20,
Okay.
sometimes on the weekends, but I would say on average 20.
All right, perfect. And then we give about okay, so about 40%. So how long has this cold caller been calling
Like 2 years probably, maybe three.
for y'all?
No,
No.
she worked for the company I originally worked for.
Okay. Um, So like, how long have they been calling for y'all?
I
Probably
mean, since
6 months.
Okay. And then from that cold caller, how many deals have you guys closed?
this would be our
I think,
second.
yeah, only two.
Now we're actually closing. Now we're actually closing. We've locked up deals with her, but just the ones that are actually going to the closing table too. Or
Okay.
yeah, two, I would say.
So 2 that are going to the closing table.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's been like
And then
a
how many
wonky.
contracts?
Like four.
4?
Or yeah, 50%.
Got it. Okay, cool. This is making sense. Okay. So I can use this actually maths out here. And then if you offer consistently probably about like probably around 30, 40, 50% of those leads that come in generally. Is that generally like what it is? Like 1 in 3?
Yeah, I mean, if
It's
it's
tough to.
I mean, I'd say if we get them on the phone, we usually get an offer over to them. It's just whether that offer works or not, or if it was a
Yeah,
good
for sure.
call, like kind of everything.
Okay, cool. So you're offering everyone pretty much who answers. That's like an actual.
If it gets to that point of the conversation, yeah, if we get to
Yeah,
that
if they
point of
want
the
to, if they,
conversation,
Okay, cool.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
go through the
that's
process, and if they want to hear it, yeah, we don't just give out an offer for anything, like, right? Like, we want to take them through the
Mhm.
process,
for sure.
qualify the lead, and then from there, it's just like, great, yeah, give them an offer then. But
It's perfect. This is good enough for me off of the projections. All right, so I think roughly like this is probably like somewhere in the neighborhood of where y'all are at. What's your average deal size? Like 15, 20 grand?
yeah, I'd say we're averaging about 15.
yeah,
All right,
15's
cool.
accurate, probably.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna just get this set up real quick. So, all right, so I'm gonna basically the way that this works is I take y'all's current business and then I model it out, and then we kind of like build backwards to like what we want to happen. So basically, if you guys want, let's just say, what do y'all want to make, like 100 grand per month? Just like use as a goal, 50 grand. Like, is there any number?
That's our goal by March was 100 grand.
Okay, perfect. So let's just use that as like a number. So basically we can use this as like being like a rough like idea of like what a month looks like. Also like we can just assume like 60%. Are you guys virtual?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd say
Hit or miss.
we'll go walk a few if they're like 10, 15 minutes away to get the photos real quick, but mainly all
Okay.
virtual.
Cool, that's close enough then. All right. So basically, let's just assume that for the sake of this is that we're closing about 60%. That's probably about accurate for most people. 1 in 5 leads roughly are probably converting to an offer. And then from those, about 10 offers to a contract. Does that seem like roughly reasonably somewhere in the ballpark, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So basically now what we want to do is we need to take these numbers and like look at what 100K month looks like right now. And in that current situation, we need to generate 600 leads per month to hit 105K with all of our current numbers. So basically, if you know how much it costs to get a lead, you know how much money you need to spend on marketing in order to hit that. Now, granted, I think we can do a little bit better than that. So there's a couple things that we would do, and I'll show you like what ideally I want the business to look like from a metrics perspective. So right now, I just want you guys to take in, this is where we're at on a monthly basis. And on a quarterly basis, it looks a little bit more like this. So 150 leads, 30 offers, 3 contracts, 1, maybe 2 deals. It's kind of like up in the air. It just depends on the month, right? So somewhere in that 20, 25K a quarter range, that's like current. So then as we move forward, what I think can happen is we can get this close rate somewhere between 15 and 20% by installing a sales process, which would 50 to 100% increase the business. So like we're almost somewhere between 50% increase and doubling. So it's a pretty substantial increase. So let's just say 15% from installing a sales process. And then we'll put that out, and now we can look at what happens to the business. Do you guys like roughly like how much are you paying this cold caller? Just so I have that number.
It comes out to like
600 and
650 a month.
680.
Yeah.
680.
It's like 4 something, and yeah, I think it's 680 a month.
Got it. And how much do you spend on like,
yeah.
how much like data have you bought for them over the 6 months?
Well, I had a list originally that was like given to me by my old boss. It's like a long story, but that's what she was working at first. And now we're on a plan where I think we just started it this month, but it's, what is it, 1,500 a month or?
Yeah, it's 1,500 a month for the
Okay.
seat, and then it's 33,000 prospects.
33,000 records. Okay, perfect.
addresses. Yeah,
Got
records.
it. All right, this is perfect. So if I know we're spending, basically I can determine our cost per lead. So our cost per lead is $40. So that means roughly marketing, roughly I know in order to hit 100K with these numbers, where's it at here? $400, we need to spend 17 grand on marketing, which basically equates to 400 grand. So if we're doing cold calling at the same rate, which $40 cost per lead is it's like in the range of being in KPI. So I think that's a good number. It's not a bad number. I'd like to see it anywhere between 20 and 40 is like ideal cost per lead for cold call. Depends on how qualified the lead is. So that's a good ROI. If we look at this return on investment, just so we know, like profitability perspective, this is 6x. You spend $1, you make 6. That's really good. So basically what we need to do is we need to figure out a plan of how to get here on a monthly basis. But before we really even move to this point, there's another lever that I want to pull. And this is going to be through the MLS strategy and through offer giving strategy, which basically just means like, how do we create MAOs? How do we position ourselves when we make offers, and how do we negotiate a little bit better? Because what's the median home price in y'all's market right now?
At 200 to 300 range, I'd say.
Okay.
I would say 300.
300. Okay. So your average deal size should be around 10% of your median home price. So in Atlanta right now, we're 34, like 500, and the median home price is like 350. So you're going to be right around 10. Like that's the goal, is like you should be right around 10% of whatever the median price is. So let's just even say it's 250 to be a little bit on the conservative side. So we should be at 25K. And again, this is like a good case scenario. I think we could definitely get to 25K through adding MLS strategy, adding wholesales, perfecting a little bit of like the way that we give offers potentially, and like having a little bit, and like what I mean by that is like there's a way that you step your offers up and having an underwriting process. So what that does is that puts this 6x ROI to not 10x ROI, where we spend 17 grand and make 175 on 400 leads, and which brings our 100K mark all the way down to this number right here, which if I go over here and do marketing spend and do cost per lead times the amount of leads we need, is we're looking at 10 grand. So now by implementing and basically the things that we would do to implement in your business from a high level would be, we would take, again, there's also going to be things that we're going to have to do. Like we're going to have to increase team. We're going to do a lot of different things, and we can kind of talk that through. But the general like action steps we would want to go through right here would be, one, to implement a sales process. And I don't know to what degree you guys have a sales process right now, but
we actually just started that too, like last week.
Perfect. And then the MLS strategy.
Is that for dispo? When you say, sorry, is that when you say MLS strategy, is that selling them on the MLS?
Listing it on the market.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other things would be, once we do that, then we're going to have to be building the team, because in order to go, and I would also say offer giving our process, that'd be another one. And then, but once we do that, the things that are going to have to happen. So these are like relatively good. This will get you guys to where y'all start to cap out around this 25 to 50 grand mark, because then you'll be overwhelmed with to delegate to other people. So like you'll get here and this will be great. But the problem is like you got to then delegate all the roles. So it's like we got to take the thing we do, the process we do really well, and we got to get that into other people's heads. So then after that, it's probably going to be hiring a lead manager. And then once we teach you how to hire, train, onboard a lead manager, you're going to need to remove yourselves from the acquisition seat and get someone else to come in there, so that you once we've automated deployments. Now we need to, because we now have gotten you guys in the best, highest leverage position in the business, where you're probably doing dispo, you're probably doing acquisitions, and then you might be doing a little bit of marketing stuff where you're just like training the cold callers or whatever it might be. And then you're going to be doing hiring, training, other stuff. So those are going to be the highest leverage activities. And that's what we want to get you to. And then once we get there, then it's about delegating the next lowest leverage, which is going to be dispo and acquisitions. And then it's kind of like, depends on what route you guys want to go, everyone's skill sets and all that kind of stuff. So that's like kind of the gist of like what we would do if we were to like work with you, basically.
That MLS strategy, I'm curious, like you obviously have that written out in your contract, and then you also have to like, do you have to sign up like a POA with that? The seller does?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. So we do a POA and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, what's that look like from a sales side, like pitching that to a seller? I'm so curious, because like that's like you're just gonna list their property.
Yeah.
And
so
that due diligence period.
Yeah. So basically, like the basic idea is like, it's like positioning yourself as
like the way you position your offers, right? So like we're giving them a low cash offer, and then in turn for us to come up in our price, they have to be flexible with us on access to the property, which gives us a 60-day inspection period or 30-day inspection period, 60-day contract period to list on MLS and do everything else that we'd have to do to sell it, which basically gets us the contract signed and all that kind of stuff. It's just so we can get them more money. They're flexible with us on access to the property and listing and all that.
Interesting.
So, yeah, that's pretty much the general, just like the time period here. We haven't mapped out anything with time. I just like simply just put the contracts going up one per month. It allows me to like see it really easily. Time period on this, I mean, that would take a little bit more like nuance, like nitty gritty, and like, then you have like budget and like how fast can we move and all that kind of stuff. But as far as the important pieces and like the levers to pull is the most important. The way that I look at this is like, if we go back, let me just go all the way back here. We go back to the main changes is one, we had our close rate at 10%. We had our deal size at 15K. So the easiest one to basically, the easiest one to change and the one that's going to give us the biggest impact is going to be if we change our deal size, because that's going to almost double the business, right? So basically from there, that's the first thing we're going to do, which to double the business and increase your deal size, there's only 3 ways to do it. It's 1, to offer lower, 2, it's to dispo higher, and then 3, you can, you could dispo higher in 2 ways. It'd be MLS strategy and also like wholesales and flips and whatever. So those are 3 ways you can really increase your deal size. So that'd be the easiest one, is one, when you install a sales process that usually allows you, in an offer giving process, allows you to offer significantly lower and like not like pigeonhole yourself into like higher prices and that kind of stuff. Then the other side of it is like increasing our close rate. That's going to come from having a process, because when we listen to a call and like what should be said and it's not said, then like the process isn't being followed. And if we know the process works at a higher level, then all we have to do is master the process, or master how good we are at the process. So basically master the process first, and then teach advanced sales training on top of that, so that we can ask better questions and confront the actual issues. So again, the things that we would do, if I forward it up here, is 1, we want to implement a sales process. 2, we'd want to implement MLS strategy. We'd have an offer giving process, and we'd start to we'd want to make sure like all these numbers are fixed. And then once we have a very good sustainable model, we want to then start hiring out the teams. So that's pretty much the case on that.
Hey guys, so real quick, if you're looking to scale your wholesale company to $50,000 or $100,000 per month, this information I'm sharing with you guys today is exactly what we do for our clients. It's helped us go from $15,000 per month in 2020 to having a month of $504,000 in the year 2023. Also, this exact process has helped us scale over 100 different wholesale companies to multiple 6 and multiple 7 figures per year. So we have a 3-step process to scale any business from whatever stage they're at to whatever goal they want. And here's how we do it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come in and clearly define the goals that you want for yourself and the business. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to clearly define where we're at right now from a measurable standpoint. And the third thing we're going to do is we're going to show you how to bridge the gap. And what this means is my team is going to come to your business and we're going to create a step-by-step plan to help you go from 15K per month to 100K per month. And then we're going to implement it alongside you in your business. So if this is something you want to do, go down below, book a call with our team. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to go and get a free plan on exactly how you can take your business from where you're at to where you want to go. And then you can implement that yourself. If it makes sense, then you can choose to implement it with us. If not, go on your own and do it. But with that being said, go click the link down below, book a call with my team, and we'll be back to the video.
You guys, I know you guys probably prefer texting better, right? As a marketing tool as opposed to cold calling. I guess
we do cold calling.
Generated.
I mean, yeah, mass amount of leads like SMS, but the quality is going to be a little bit worse. So like in this scenario, you can look for cold calling to be like 50 leads to a deal, where SMS could probably be like 100. So that's going to be the difference. I mean, right now we're doing SMS, cold call, TV ads, and direct mail. So,
nice.
So I mean, they all work. It's more so about like continuing to build on what works, and then like once you get to like this point of having like a $10,000 marketing budget in cold calling, you're going to probably diversify out to something else that's going to maybe produce higher income or higher quality leads, because you have like the extra cash to do so. I don't think it's like necessarily the best thing to do to have multiple lead sources until you get to like, at least at the very minimum 50K a month, and a very profitable 50K a month. I think it's better just to like, we did this year, we'll do like over 2 million with just SMS. So one lead source can take you pretty far. Mahar, asked, do you track each marketing channel separately? Yeah. So like this like ideology, these metrics, we're going to look at them per marketing channel, because that allows us to, because there's different conversions. Like, like this 20% numbers are like cold calling, but SMS is going to be like 10. And then like your inbound leads, like PPC, your leads to offers should be like 60 or 70. Direct mail is going to be like closer to 40 to 50. All the different lead channels are a little bit different the way they convert. And then also your inbound leads are going to convert a little bit higher from offers to contracts. So like SMS and cold calls is going to be like 15 to 20, whereas inbound should be like somewhere between 20 to 30. Like if you're doing bad, like on the worst end, it'd be 20. If you're doing really good, you'd be closer to 30. Also, if you're in person, it's going to be a little different. There's a lot of variables that go into it. Cool.
Also,
Keegan,
I want to piggyback off like what Chandler said also really quick, because a lot of people come to us with this problem of like they're trying so many different marketing channels with like smaller budgets. They're doing cold call, they're doing SMS, they're doing PPC, but they're spending like $400 across each of them. So that's where like tracking your numbers is super important. If you guys aren't tracking that, one, if you're only spending that amount of money on each marketing channel, it's going to take forever for you to get a return, and you're spreading yourself super thin. So that's like the importance, especially like every client we work with, no matter kind of where everyone's at, we're going to break down the numbers. A lot of people, for what it is, it's like, hey, we need to track it and see where your guys' return is, and we'll just start spending more on that. Because like Chandler said, you guys can easily get to 50, 60, 70K a month with one marketing channel. But what a lot of people do is they try all these different ones. They don't track anything. They do it based off feel. They end up 4 months down the road with no deals, and then they're out of money. So like whatever you guys are doing, no matter what the marketing channel, I don't care how you track it. I don't care if like you work with us, you don't work with us, whatever it is, just track your numbers, or else it's going to be a very rough road 4 months from now when you guys are like out of money and scrambling, wondering why you don't have a deal. So at the very least, just track your numbers and track your returns would be just one thing I have to add on to like Chandler's point there.
yeah, I think that's a good point actually, because like if you spend, let's say you spend $4,000, but you spend $400, like $4,000 a month on marketing, but you spend $400 on each lead source. Cost per deal for every lead source is going to be between like $2,000 and $8,000, depending on what lead source and what marketing channel. So if let's just say it takes $2,000 to get a deal on a lead channel, and you only spend $400 a month, it's going to take you 5 months to get a deal, even though you're spending $4,000 a month. So you're going to have to spend like 20 G's to get a deal. Whereas like, if you just focus on one channel, you'll put all 4 G's right there and get a deal a month. So Carter, Keegan, I appreciate you boys hopping on and like sharing that. Was that, hopefully that was helpful for y'all.
For sure. Something definitely to look at. Appreciate it.
For sure. Keegan, if you want to, or no, not Tristan, sorry. Tristan, if you want to unmute yourself. Oh, you're already unmuted. You're
What's
here.
going on, Chandler? How are you?
What's up? I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing better now. I've been kind of rolling around in my head a little bit. We were like,
Where you been rolling at? Where's your head rolling, dude? Down the highway?
Yeah, basically, I get in a bad habit of going down a rabbit hole and then like trying to. You're a much better linear thinker than I am. Like I think much more like laterally. But anywho, I do want to give you a huge shout out. Just off your free content, we implemented a much more aggressive follow-up system. I was talking to Billy about this. We went from a 63% contact rate to just yesterday with like 15, 20 leads, somewhere on there. We had a 93% contact rate off the new leads that came through, which is a 50% freaking jump based off your free content. So, and then I was talking to Matt about it, and then I saw you had this call. I was like, dude, let's just hop in. And then lo and behold, you're like, hey, put your numbers in. So this would be this is the perfect opportunity for me to get outside my head, get another perspective in on it, and then like dial in. I'm like, okay, what's the most important things we need to work on? So that way I'm not like seeing 10 different problems, but not prioritizing what's going to.
Yeah, I think actually that's like such a good thing you bring up, just like the prioritization thing. So like I built a system for myself because like I am, contrary to like what you see on the internet, I'm like very much like everywhere. I'm like super ADHD. So like I use a notepad every day where all I do is I write down like 1 to 3 things that I need to do per day. And then like and then I like kind of like take inventory. I'm like, is this actually important? And then like I just cross it off or not, because otherwise I'll just find myself sitting there. I'm like, dude, like I'm like in my email, I'm on like Instagram, like I don't know what I'm doing. And like so, or I'm just like just like wasting time basically. Like what is it? Creative avoidance type stuff. So that's what keeps me accountable. So hopefully that helps
That
with
helps. Yeah. That's something that I need to be more disciplined about, because sometimes when I start my day, we're already starting a meeting, and like there's to-dos outside of that. And so like, I need to be more disciplined of like, I'm gonna write out my to-dos. I'm gonna prioritize it. I'm not gonna have 30 different things. I'm gonna have a few big things, and then get all the shit that's in the business done, and then work on the big things as well each day.
Or yeah, Warren Buffett said that take your to-do list and cross off the bottom 99%. So
Man.
yeah, I think it's true. But
too.
yeah, dude, for sure. He's not a dummy, that's for sure. So okay, so Tristan, tell me about like two things I'm looking at right here that I noticed is, I assume you're doing SMS. Is that what you're doing, SMS marketing?
No, man. Okay. We were doing cold calling, but I think that stopped. Probably there's going to be a little bit of cold calling left in there, but right now we are doing all like PPC stuff. So,
okay. So what are these numbers on? Like mostly the lead channel?
Mostly PPC right now.
Okay.
I would say 80% of them will probably be PPC if I had to. Maybe cool. 75. We'll say 75% PPC.
Close enough.
Yeah.
What market are you in?
We're in Northeast Arkansas, so very tiny market. We're in our backyard, so we flip. We're starting to flip our properties our own.
Is that like Bentonville area?
No, that's Northwest Arkansas, which is a great area. Something we would like to get into, but Northeast is like almost touching Tennessee, like close to Memphis.
Okay, got it. Yeah. I think I might have been there before one time. Just like drove through for baseball.
Well, holler at your boy, man.
Shit, dude, I was like 8 years old, man. I didn't think I had a phone then. I was 8. But okay, cool. So what's the median home price there, like roughly? It's probably pretty low.
200,000.
Okay. What are you doing? So like walk me through this. So the things I'm looking at here is like deal size and then lead conversion rate. So you're at 11% lead to offer. And then like your offer to contract's not bad. Like it's a little bit low, but it's not like a huge screaming thing at me right now. Okay. So like things I want to see is if your median's like 200, I'd like to see this deal size closer to 20. So I think that's one opportunity, and we can talk about that. And I'd also like to see your lead to offer closer to 50 to 70 for PPC, but there could be some nuances in there that keep this a little lower. So like talk me through this PPC campaign.
Yeah, so we have multiple sources. We're using Need to Sell My House Fast. We're using Lead Zillow. We're not doing anything in-house at this moment.
So PPL.
And one thing we are starting to see is our lead costs are jumping up a lot more. It's a little bit outside of our control. Like with us being in our backyard, we're like, hey, it's not gonna be as competitive, but now it's starting to get bid up where we're paying like $200, $225 a lead, and we were paying $100 a lead. So it's a big concern for us. That's like, well, shit, we can't control that. And that's a glaring weakness for us. So we don't have any internal marketing. We had the cold calling going up, and we saw a decent return, but our thought process was we would rather spend money where we get a faster cash conversion, and then be able to reinvest that into other sources down the road. So we wanted to double down on PPC first, and essentially once that's going steady, then start to add on marketing channels down the road. So like our foundation, we were planning on doing as PPC because it's just less operationally intensive.
For sure. Okay, so so PPL, like about half your leads are going to be like net, maybe like 50 to 60%, somewhere in that neighborhood. Which
so
means
when you say net, are you just saying guys that just have interest in selling the properties, whether it's listed on the MLS or anything?
Like qualified, more so, like someone you speak to and they're like actually like not like someone you refund.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So it's like someone you
don't. We aren't tracking our refund rate, and that's something that we want to track net. Matt, are you still on this call? If you had to guess, would you say what? Probably 3 out of 4. We would probably say that our net leads, if we had to shoot from the hip.
I would probably less than that. I would say I can guarantee you. Hell, I can freaking look in here real quick, and I can tell you how many we've actually done something with, but y'all keep on going. I can tell you that number.
So let's say 60% for now.
Yeah, I just actually talked to someone this today, and like when we were doing PPL, it's like
Yeah.
paper, because PPC and PPL is a little bit different.
Yeah, you're right.
But paper lead, you're going to be about 30% on this number. That's the biggest lever because we can 2 to 3x this, and like obviously if we see what happens. So like let's just.
So you're
I'll
saying based off the leads that we have, we're not making nearly as much offers as we should.
100%. But I'll show you what I mean. Well, I'll show you like what that does to the business. So let's just map this out real quick. All right. So let's just say we're doing 5 contracts a month. And then like, what's your cost? You said your cost per lead right now is 200 is what it's went up to.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay. So
I
basically
think
I'll just.
with us being in other counties, I would say I would run it at like I would run it at 150 because there are counties that we're paying a lot lower amount for.
Mhm.
If you had to mix it in, I'm just saying mix in, I think a good conservative amount would be 150.
Got it. Okay. So basically what this should do is this should take your marketing spend, and you should be able to take this and get this up to, let's just say 25 and be a bit conservative. It should be able to drop, you can see like the difference. It's 100 leads, which would take your spend to 15K to generate 33. So that would get you to like a 2x ROI, which is going to be one big lever. I think we got to shoot for definitely getting more offers out, but that would be one huge lever. I think I'll shoot for like 30 because 30 is honestly like where we need to be. So like, because
So
it
out
should
of 10
be,
leads, we should be making offers on 3 of them.
yep, pretty much.
Interesting. So like out of 10 leads, how many of those now I guess I could say out of 10 net leads, how many of those should be appointments or like process calls?
50 to 70%. It's a little bit variable depending on the marketing. It's going to be somewhere in that neighborhood. So half to almost 3/4 of all, because your assumption is that these leads are motivated until proven otherwise. So if they say nothing good or nothing bad, we give them an offer because they clicked on something with high intent.
Mm-hmm.
That's gotta like that's the shift in the mentality. And then like another thing too is like it said 59 out of 228 were interested, which would basically mean that out of those 228, we gave 25 offers. We should have given 60 based on what Matt said, which would have, if you would have given Civic 60 offers, let's go to 12.
So
Then this is-
59 out of the 220-ish had said they were interested in selling their house or more. So we had either made an offer to them, they had said they were interested, basically all the steps past expressing interest. The leads that we actually made an offer on, I can give you that number here in just a quick little second.
It's going to be the same as the screenshot we sent over, right? Which would be like roughly low 30s.
Offers given, some leads we may have given more offers to, but leads that and some of them I don't have offer rejected in this filter here. So yeah, 25 is the number for rejected for offers given.
Yeah. So out of those 59, we should have offered, if they were interested, we should have offered every single one of them. That's at least what I would expect, which would mean that if we get 60 offers with 20% close rate, we get 12 contracts and we get 9 deals. And then if we can double the deal size by implementing the MLS strategy, kind of the same things we talked about with Keegan and Carter, then like the business goes from being 33 to, then we map this out one more time. We can take it to, let's just say we get to 15K. In the same quarter where we made 33 grand, we make 135 grand with just a couple small tweaks.
Well, and I will say that a lot of the people that are like in the lower tier of that, they're wanting like market value or something, like some sort of astronomical price for their property that we just wouldn't be able to pay. And so we really we do not make offers on those people, or at least
Out
we
of the
don't.
59 people?
Correct.
So what were the other 150 people?
The other 150 people, well, let's look here. Let's look at our stages of age. So we've got some that we've had 31 out of however many that is, we've had a conversation with, but are not interested. And then the rest of them, which is about 110, we haven't spoken to.
Okay, which would be a speed to lead thing.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
And we just
But
implemented that
yeah,
yesterday.
Yeah.
so yeah, so like regardless of like those two circumstances, like these should still be the numbers. And like I think your close rate, like even with like a sales process with MLS strategy, like goes up to like 25%. Maybe I wouldn't even want to say 30, but it should definitely go up, which puts you, obviously like it just increases things more. That's what I see based on like the numbers that we would expect to be hitting. So like this is what should be hitting right here.
So is it what would you say the first thing is that we would need to work on? Because like the first thing that we were doing is, okay, lead comes in, we want to hit them in the first 30 minutes. We want to reach out twice a day for 3 times every single day for basically a month. Like we're just going to go AWOL with it, and then send them a text twice a day as well. At least for the first 2 weeks, we need to be 3 weeks, extremely aggressive. Maybe it can lighten up. And then after that, I think our acquisitions guy probably is disqualifying these guys sooner rather than later. I think he's like, maybe he's saying to himself, hey, this lead's not worth any of my time. What is the mindset around thinking about when should we actually have an appointment set? When should we actually make that offer? This lead is not a waste of time. So we've already spent the money to get him here. He's already made it this far. Let's see this all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, I would say to answer that question directly is just if you don't know where to draw the line, just don't draw the line and then figure out where to draw the line. So like if you get a lead, just give them an offer and see what happens and then just iterate accordingly. That's what I would do.
Okay.
And then as far as like the rest of the stuff, like we can get super nuanced into it. I mean, I would say that like the implementation of this strategy like would be right in our wheelhouse. So like I think it'd be great if we work together. But also like to tell you like what I think you should do would be you'd want to definitely, I mean, you got to knock it off from the perspective of like which conversion rate is going to give the biggest impact to the business.
Yeah.
So if you're going to get a 3x return from increasing lead to offer, that's going to be the first one I'm going to work on, because the other one would be average deal size, which would be 2x, which is not as good. And the other one would be offers given, which would be, what's that, like a 20% increase. So it's not like that crazy. But I mean, all of them compounded together, it's like, 5xing the business. But that's the way I look at it.
So the biggest gap is that we're disqualifying lead. We're not making offers to the leads that we should be.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if we really simplified it, yeah. There's like, probably about 5 or 6, there's like a ton of different ways, ton of different reasons for that and like things you do, but yeah, that's it.
Good to know. Good to know. Is there anything else like for us too on the closed deals? We are starting to flip more. So that's going to raise it up. Like one thing, like I ran into this issue today. We were pitching innovation and the lady was like, hey, like I was under the impression that you guys were going to purchase it and that's it. That's what it is. And I have a hard time of like reframing it where, hey, in order for you to get your net, this is what we have to do. Like, do you specifically let them know that, hey, we have the intention of purchasing it, that this is what we have to do? Or do you, be a little bit more transparent and say, hey, this is your net, we are going to have to partner with, like, how do you explain that so that these sellers are like comfortable with that? Because like, they'll in the back of their mind, they could say, hey, well, why don't I list with the agent?
Yeah, I mean, there's a million ways of like how you can explain it, but the general one is like our primary strategy is to take it down and purchase it, but we just need this because we're kind of coming up to a fringe point in our our price points where we don't feel 100% we're not sure if we're 100% comfortable or not. I just need this option so I can guarantee that I can get it done for you, basically.
And then if like, I guess you guys are at a point now where you guys are able to underwrite it to a point where you feel pretty confident that it's going to sell. You're not overpricing stuff on the market where it's just sitting and then you have to have a very awkward conversation with the seller on the back end.
I mean, we still mess it up, but I mean, that's like just have a good retrade process so that we can, it's the key is communication. Because if you do screw it up, then like as long as you let them know, then like it's gonna be fine. I mean, if you mess it up by 80 grand, like, I'm sure some people will be upset and their time's wasted. But if you tell them in a couple of days that like things may or may not work out and like frame it the right way, then like people are going to be pretty open to having a conversation. I mean, we've had a lot of those conversations, and I'd say for anything that's smaller than 20K price reduction, it's pretty much like 80 to 90% success rate.
Damn. Wow.
Does anyone have any questions for Chandler or just general questions they want to ask? Like before we wrap up, I just wanted to leave some time for questions as well.
Yeah, I got a quick question. Super simple.
What up?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. What's up, Fitz?
Okay, cool. Real cool. What's up, man? Been super big fan over the past month.
Yeah, appreciate it, bro.
You guys got some great stuff, man. So one thing that I'm running into right now is just from an organization structure. What quick tip, like what's the best way to track offers made by our AM and appointment set?
The best way to track it, I mean, it would mainly
Yeah.
just be, you could do it in a couple ways. We just have them enter in a field of when the offer is made, so like we know that that's done. And then for offers set, it's based on like, so we have like an appointment date field, and like that gets filled in, and then it just like basically that's how we do it, if that makes sense. So it's like, when's the appointment set? Like, okay, so like for example, like when the appointment's created, so we use like Calendly, it triggers like a zap that basically says like appointment was set on today's date on the record. And then same thing.
And you just basically you'll just basically every day you'll just go and count those. Like you'll just count wherever that zap sends that message to, or maybe you'll sort your CRM and say, okay, who actually has a date?
Yeah, and what I would do, Fitz, I know
I
know Ryan said you were joining, so like just shoot, I'll send you my phone number, so you can just shoot me a text and I'll like send you like a Loom video to like help you out on that.
All right, cool. Sounds good.
So I'll shoot that to you. I'll just text you right now on the chat.
Okay, cool.
And then as far as like, is there any other questions? Just because like Fitz, I don't want to get too technical here.
Oh, you're good.
How many markets?
Everyone's eyes gonna glaze over.
That was quick. How many markets are you guys in, Chandler?
3. Atlanta, Dallas, Fort Worth, and then Raleigh, Durham.
Nice. Which one's your favorite market?
If you asked me this like a couple months ago, I would say, I mean, they're all kind of like, I really don't have a favorite. I think like one that's been really lucrative recently was the Dallas Fort Worth, like Plano, Texas. We spent like 20 G's there and made like 500. So that was like cool. So I'd do that again.
Thank you.
I really don't give a shit about any market, honestly, as long as it makes money. I could care less about where it's at, as long as the numbers look good. But I guess other than that, if there's any other questions. Oh, what's up?
Yeah, so I know you said earlier, as far as marketing, don't go to multiple marketing, like keep it. I know you said you spent 50,000 and you were just doing one channel, but what was your team like when you were doing that? And then I guess my next question was, were you guys just strictly doing SMS marketing?
So we were doing SMS and cold call mainly. Then when we went from 80 to 120, we added like TV. So we started doing TV, and that was a pretty good lead channel for us. It's been a good lead channel for the last few years. What our team look like? So the basic funnel that we have is going to be, you're going to go, and I could like show this out on like paper, but it's basically going to go leads to lead manager to acquisitions for outbounds, like cold call, SMS. And then you got to make sure for inbound, everything goes right to your acquisition manager, because you got to have a good phone call on the first call. Otherwise, you're going to completely flounder the lead and waste it. So it's got to be someone super qualified talking to that person that makes them feel very understood. Like, we are the best people to solve that problem. And that removes all the competition. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of competition on that call. I mean, obviously, like, not every person's going to like drop all the other offers are going to drop, but you're going to increase your likelihood like significantly.
So what you're saying is, when you guys sent SMS and launch control and you guys got a call back from the seller, that those calls go strictly to your acquisition manager?
Lead manager.
Or lead manager, okay.
Yep. And then like direct mail, PPC, Facebook ads, SEO, if you did that, TV, all that kind of stuff is going to go straight to the acquisitions person.
Okay. All right, that's good.
And then cold call SMS is going to go right to the lead manager, unless we have a really hot like lead for cold
Mhm.
calling, then we'll pass that to an acquisitions person.
Okay, appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Ebony asked, I'm newer. Most videos I've watched are great towards having a team of people. What would you recommend for one person show with cold calling versus SMS? I think if you've never done a deal, if you're, depends on how new you are. If you've never done a deal, you got to cold call your first deal. It's the skill you have to learn if you want to be successful in this business. So that's what I would do. Cold calling. I do have the role. I got to meet a lady after this. So I need, if basically one, I appreciate you guys being here. Two, like I want to submit an offer. Like one, like, so what we went over today pretty much is like a high level of like how we consult businesses. And I want you guys to be able to implement that in your own business. So one, find out where the gaps are. Two, like know what you need to do. And if you want to like bridge the gap on your own, that's completely okay. That's what I'm here to do, give free value. But I also do want to say like we provide, well, I feel like it's pretty great one-on-one support on implementation. So if any of this was valuable, I would like, I'm gonna drop a link in the chat to hop on a call with our team to where we can go through and personalize a little bit deeper in a deeper fashion, like for like a 1 hour call, to basically build this same model for your that you maybe don't know exactly how they get answered. You can hop on a call with our team and we can show you exactly how we would take your business from wherever it is and scale it to 100K per month. And the kind of the goal of that journey is to one, not only remove you from, not only one to make you more money, but two is to remove you from working in the business to kind of being on top of the business where you're a manager, where you're no longer like calling sellers as much and doing all that stuff and you're making more money. So that's kind of the process. And we'll just be repeating this on a weekly basis pretty much. So we have a one-on-one support team that you'll talk to on a weekly basis that I train. One of the guys runs a 7-figure wholesaling business. And so it's very qualified people teaching you guys exactly what to do on a weekly basis. So, but yeah, if that's something that interests you, there's a link down there. Just click it, go book a call, or you can like comment in the chat and we'll reach out to you. Was this
Thanks, Chandler.
valuable?
Appreciate it. Absolutely.
Chandler's the boy, man. Thank you for everything.
Yeah,
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
sir. All right, gentlemen. I appreciate y'all, and I will see you guys later. Hopefully, see y'all on an implementation call.
Absolutely. Thanks, man.
See y'all.